theshedkings.com.
And a big thank you to the Shed Kings, Curtis and Anthony, for sponsoring the KRIM Community Spotlight program. Good morning, Rim Country. Hope you're having a great Wednesday morning. Again, it looks like it's going to be another hot one out there, but still a lot cooler than the valley. So amen to that. Well, this morning we are going to be talking about the Northern Gila County Fair, and that takes place September 4th through the 6th. And a lot of great things happening at the fair, as usual, but new things this year. So in the studio to tell us more about that is Fair Director Extraordinaire Faith Lowry. Good morning, Faith.
Good morning.
And also Callista Smith. And she is, good morning, a member of the Payson FFA, and she's going to be sharing her experience about raising goats and participating in the fair, showing the animals, and just what that is all about. So Faith, a lot of things happening at this year's fair, and again that's September 4th through the 6th. And one of the things that, and I just put the flyer on our website and I'll get it out on social media, and I'm sure people have seen this, but this is the first year for the Mutton Bustin' State Championships.
Yes, we are so excited. It seems like in this town, mutton busting's always been a lot of fun for families. Mm-hmm. And we have also the Payson Pro Rodeo coming up soon, and they have mutton busting.
Oh yeah. And
at their last Gary Hart rodeo, there were kids that were mutton busting, and they come from all over. It's not just our local folks that love it, but there'll be 50 spots. Okay. So different age groups, and they'll have 4 winners with cash prizes and buckles. They have a $25 sign up, but the kids get a shirt, and they'll get to participate. It'll be a lot of fun, and it'll probably take a couple hours to run that many kids through, but following that will be our ranch rodeo. So it'll start probably 6 o'clock on September 6th. It's a Saturday, be right after the auction. So Callista will tell us about her experiences with her livestock and what'll go on there. And then we'll do the mutton busting, and then we'll have the ranch rodeo on top of the Fiddle Festival and so many other great events going on.
That's right. So the other new event or part of the Northern Gila County Fair this year also is the Fiddle Contest, and the State Fiddle Championship,
yes,
which has been held separate of the fair in years past, but this year it has been combined with the Northern Gila County Fair, and what a perfect fit. I think, fiddle contest and fiddle music with the fair.
I know, we're so excited that we're working together with the town to do this as a joint venture versus doing so many separate events. We think that it'll be fun for everyone to get to participate in a lot more activity. But they'll have so many things. They've got small fry divisions, they've got junior divisions. They also have different types of contests for, they have trick competitions and band competitions. So it's more than just fiddles. There's so much involved, and it's super fun.
So again, all that information can be found on the town's website at venturepayson.com, and information about the fiddle contest. But then for the fair itinerary, schedule of events, that website is northerngilacountyfair.com or ngcfair.com, and there's a complete schedule of events, exhibits, livestock information, sponsors on there. Also the ability to volunteer, because it takes a lot of people to put the fair on, so they're always looking for volunteers, and there's volunteers in a lot of different areas, whether it's at the Payson Event Center and around the livestock and all the fair activities, or at the Tonto Apache gym with the exhibits.
Yes, so depending on If you don't want to be outside and you'd rather be inside, but you really want to get involved, the Tonto Apache Gym hosts all of our exhibits, and Dorothy's always looking for help. And if you go on to our Sign Up Genius on the website, you can click on volunteering, and it'll give you a list of all the locations and areas that we need volunteers. In addition, the folks that are bringing some of the couple carnival rides and games and such, they are actually going to pay somebody. They'll have, I think, 4 or 5 spots, and they'll pay them to run the slide.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so there's more than just volunteer opportunities and volunteer hours for those of you that need them. And there is an opportunity to make some money too and have some fun.
That is awesome. So, Callista, you are, well, first, you're in FFA.
Yes.
What year of school are you in?
I'm a sophomore this year, so I'm going into sophomore year.
Mm-hmm. And what are you raising?
I raise goats. I raised a goat last year. This is my second goat. My goat this year, his name is Coco, or Colton. We call him both. He is one sassy goat, though. I'm gonna tell you that. Like, he has an attitude, and he loves his food.
Yeah. He loves eating, huh?
Oh yes, he'll literally search out the barn. He knows where all the food points are on the barn. He'll be like, oh, there's ham on the floor over here, and he'll book it so he can let him out his pain. And he'll like catch up to him, and he'll have like so much food in his mouth that he can't talk, and he'll try making noise like talking, and he like screaming, and he'll just like start coughing. I'm like, you can't yell with your mouth full.
No, maybe he'll learn. Maybe he'll learn one day. So you raised a goat last year, and you're raising a goat again this year. What would you say is like one of the biggest differences between last year and this year for you?
Just having that knowledge, having the experience from the year before, just like being able to have it. Because last year I kind of just dove head first into raising animals. It was my first year ever raising livestock. I never grew up raising livestock. So, but the community really helped too, and the people around me were like, they would give me advice and be like, hey, this is what you can do and this will help you, and I'm like, that's amazing, and they would help me. And whenever you reach out, especially in this town, you reach out and you can get so much help from our town. Our town is really good about that. And so this is my second year. I did a girl female last year. I'm doing a male this year, and he's just, I personally like raising males better, but it's just so much better in my experience too, because you already have that knowledge from the last year, so you don't have to sweat like, am I doing something wrong? Is he not supposed to be eating this much? Or all of those questions that race through your mind when you're first raising an animal. Am I going to mess up? But then your next year you're like, you know what, I think I'm doing it right. This is going to be a good go. I'm going to do good this year.
Yeah, sounds like with children, huh?
It was funny when you said about your goat knows all the places to hit, so it starts at one and just makes its rounds. And it reminds me of my dogs, because my dogs do that in the yard. They like start at one point of the yard and they just they have their path that they do every day, and don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. So it's kind of cute that you say your goat does that too.
And then like he'll pretend he's not doing anything wrong, and then so you'll like let him out and he'll be like looking at the rocks, and like he'll just like be like walking around slowly, and then you turn around and look away for a second, and then you hear him book it, and you can hear the rocks flying, and then he'll turn around and then he'll just be like, where did the goat go? And then he'll be over here like chowing down on some food. I'm like, what are you doing? That's not your food. Stop eating that.
Yeah, it's funny. So this year, now that you have some more knowledge, or a lot more knowledge and experience, how do you feel? How do you feel about showing? And when it comes time to show your goat and get in the arena, are you a little bit more confident this year?
Yeah, last year was the first year for me, and I was really shaky. I was literally trembling. I was so shaky when I walked my goat into that pen, and then it clicks in you like when you get in there, like there's no reason to worry. Like literally nobody's judging you. They're just making sure, like they're just looking at you and your animal, being like, wow, that's one good goat you have, and you're just trying to focus on yourself more than anyone else. And so this year I feel like I'm going to do a lot better, especially because I know those things now that I didn't know about my goat last year, like certain ways to hold them and certain ways to teach them, like, hey, we're not pulling on the leash right now, stuff like that. That'll definitely help me in the ring, just being more focused and being like, it's not just focus on my animal more, less than other people.
Yeah, and it's great. I love how you mentioned, Callista, how the community the community is so supportive, and there's so many people that are willing to help, give advice, show, you know, these students, these young people, kind of what to do, what not to do. And then the auction itself, oh my goodness, how people just in businesses are so supportive of the kids in the auction.
I think I definitely have a lot to say to that point. I have 5 kids, and my 3 oldest raised livestock, and I did not grow up with livestock myself either. So it was quite a learning curve, but I love how everyone just steps out to encourage the kids, give them lots of great advice and help. And when it comes to our community in general, I think because we are a small town, there are so many family-owned businesses here that people understand the hard work that goes into raising these animals, the amount of money and time that the kids put into this. It's a business. And so when you're supporting our students at this age, you're just setting them up for success. Even if you're doing something like, let's say you're not going to buy a turkey, or you're not going to buy a lamb or a goat, but you might say, you know what, I want to support you. I see how hard you're working, and I can do $20, or I can do a $50 add-on. We've seen lots of kids be able to upgrade into a larger animal because they did very well with the sales of their animals the year before.
Wow.
My daughter started, Emma, she started with goats, and she ended up doing steers. And it was amazing for her. She loves it. And now she's in the military, but she was just helping my oldest granddaughter with her first steer.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's kind of fun to see the kids, you know, really, the experience doesn't go to waste for sure.
No, it is great and amazing to see all that support from the community. And it's something that we shouldn't take for granted, because you don't see that in every community. You do see it in some other communities, but it isn't like a given, like that other communities rally around their young people and are supportive like that. Because like you said, there are, especially in larger communities, maybe not as many family-owned businesses.
Right.
So there are some corporations that, you know, support and give donations, but it's different. It's kind of not the same.
Well, I know, for example, my oldest son is now in mining. He's not, he's done a little bit of everything. He's done so many different things, but he's worked on ranches and with cows, and he did a little, he raised a goat one year. He's done windshields, he's worked with us in the business and windows and doors. All of these things and the opportunities that these kids start out with give them a foundation for the next thing they're going to do in their life. You never know where this might lead you. It might just be the record keeping and the fun doing it, so it makes it worth learning. But you never know. One day your kids might have, you know, animals. Or my oldest daughter, she didn't grow up on a ranch or on a farm, but now she's an ag teacher, and she her kids are all raising livestock. They also have 2 goats, and it's fun.
So yeah, how about that component, the business side of it, as far as tracking food, how much you spend, just the cost, all of that.
Or maybe how much you have to pay everyone else for eating their food.
The little things that people don't think about is like when you go and buy something, is keeping the receipts. And putting it in your books and making sure you know how much you spent on this animal. So then when you go and sell your animal, you'd be like, did I make my money back or did I lose money? And just the little things. And we have this like bookkeeping thing that we do in FFA where you just put in your stuff, like when your animal was dewormed, and how much your goat weighs on this date, and just like your growth chart, so you make sure they're gaining weight, and their monthly weight gain, and all of that stuff is really important, especially when you're trying to like just to have. So then when people ask, then you have that information. Because what's really nice is when people ask, you want to make sure you have that, because then it makes you look just better in general, because they're like, oh, this person knows what they're doing. And like, maybe I want to buy their goat more. So it's really important to just keep on top of it too. A lot of people will like they'll fall behind, and then they'll just like lose track, and then it'll do this whole thing, and like they lose receipts, or like they don't know how much they spent on the goat. And I have like all my stuff. I have mine in a vanilla envelope that I keep in my drawer in my bedroom. It has everything I need in it. It has my receipts that I use. I do my breakdown towards the end and stuff, but it has my receipts in it. It has my buying, like my note saying I bought it. It has my training papers I need to do to show, my weight chart, all the good stuff.
So did you ever do any type of, any other type of business prior to this with your goats? Or is this all like you've learned this business?
This is all pretty new to me. Actually, yeah, that's it. That's pretty new. I used to volunteer at a cat shelter before I started doing FFA, but I really never was big on the paperwork. I did things like marking like, hey, this cat got this vaccination, but this is a lot new, and it was really interesting and like good to know, especially like with literally any career. Almost every career you can possibly go into requires some sort of paperwork, so it's good to know and have those ready, and so you know when you go in to take your interview for a new job, you'd be like, oh yeah, I already know how to do filing, and you can show them your filing from your animals or all that stuff, and they're like, wow, that's really cool, especially when you're younger.
It is, and for everyone listening and watching, it's a great example of just how wonderful the CTE, the Career and Technical Education classes are at the school, because of the real world and practical experience they give our young people. And you might not think, and maybe 20, 30 years ago, and some of us that are a little more mature or seasoned were in school, and it wasn't, it didn't include things like this. It was just maybe raising the animal and learning about animals and raising them, but there wasn't the business component of it. But now and you talk to students that are in the different CTE programs, it's amazing. With FFA, Construction Technologies and Skills USA, Culinary, Automotive, just all of the programs, DECA, how much experience they get that can transfer into the real world and their lives, jobs.
Well, and I know livestock is a big part of what we do at the fair. We have lots of great things, but in our exhibit areas, over the last few years, I've seen some amazing woodworking things that some of the kids do, and the FFA and the welding. I mean, there are so many talented people here. And actually, it's really funny that you brought that up. So today I was talking with Homer Sanders, and he was saying that when he went to Chapman, one of his students from wrestling, because he's a coach, came up and said, hey, I'm working over here now. And he was making the comment that most of those kids started in an automotive class at the high school. So when you look at all of these things that the kids are learning in school today, there's lots of hands-on and mechanical that they need that experience to move on into the world.
Yeah, and to just have a more rounded education, and an education that isn't just from books or videos or watching things, listening, but actually doing them. And I mean, I don't know, Callista, do you think that, you watching videos about raising goats or doing this could take the place of you actually doing it?
No, not at all. Because like a lot of things with learning, especially with me personally, is I'm a very hands-on learner. So when you're sitting down in a room watching a video, you can learn from it, but there's only so much you can take away. But then when you're like actually sitting there working an animal and touching your animals, or actually welding, because I learned how to weld in my ag class this year.
Nice.
So watching the videos is definitely very far from actually welding, because a lot of people don't like account for it just feels different, especially when you're actually welding. You're like actually putting your skills to the test. When you're watching the video, you're just watching a video. There's only so much you can do.
Maybe she needs to talk to the kids that just want to do online learning.
Yeah, no. So, and we were talking a little before the program, Callista, and you were a freshman last year, and I asked you, you know, if you liked high school better or how it was, and you said, oh yeah, you know, high school was a lot more fun, or I enjoyed it more than middle school. Is part of that due to classes like FFA or being able to do things hands-on?
It's just like, personally, yes, because I'm a very hands-on learner, and the middle school, like, they have all these electives and stuff, but when you get into high school, you're trusted more, so you're given more responsibility, so they're like, you can just do more, be more hands-on, do more stuff, and you can pick the classes that you want to take. Say, hey, I'm interested in FFA, and so you're like, you know what, I'm going to take that class, and they're like, okay, we're going to try our hardest to put that in our schedule, and a lot of things too, when people think FFA, it's not just livestock. There's literally, FFA can be literally anything. It can go from welding to planting sunflowers in a garden to raising like literally anything. You can be studying how food is made. If you're working on tractors, like an automotive for tractors, that's considered agriculture. Literally anything and everything can be considered agriculture if it's based around something's like, it's not just raising animals. So a lot of people, when they're like, well, when you're like, you should join FFA, I think you'd like it, and they're like, well, I don't want to raise animals. I was like, you don't have to. FFA is not just animals. You can do a lot of stuff in there.
So what made you decide to join FFA?
Personally,
Yeah.
it would have to be because I love animals. I know I just kind of said that's not the only reason you can do it, but I've always grown up with animals in my household, whether it be birds or cats or dogs or some kind of animal, frogs and all of the good stuff. I grew up an outdoor nature kid, so I would go outside and bring back bugs in my house and track mud through my mom's kitchen and the Payson house when we used to live in California. So I grew up very outside, so just having a class where they're like, well, yeah, it's a very outside-based class, and you get to moving around, and you get to be doing things that aren't sitting at a desk. Is really something that's like, you know what, I'm going to do that because I'm a person that I can sit in a desk and do stuff, but only for so long, and then I'm like, I need to get up and do something. So it's one of those classes, and I always have it in the middle of my day, which is always really nice because then you're like, get that break in the middle of the day from doing math and stuff.
Do you know, was there an FAA program in your like hometown in California or where you moved from? Like if you would have went into high school, was there an FFA program there?
I'm not sure. I moved here when I was in like 4th grade.
Oh, okay.
So I was
it's
really
a while.
young.
Yeah.
But I was literally everywhere.
We
There's at least there's multiple chapters in every single state. So when I went to state for FFA, we had over 1,000 people across the state in FFA that were there learning and doing competitions through like FFA, LEDs and SLAs and all that stuff. But we had like 1,000, almost 2,000 people there, and that was just our state. And then they have nationals, which is in Indiana, Indianapolis, I mean. And there's like, they get so many people. They have to host it in the huge football,
stadium.
like the whole huge football stadium.
Lucas
just to fit
Oil
us.
Field. Yeah, where the stadium there.
Are you guys going this year?
Next year, I think. Yeah.
So also, you're an officer this year, correct?
I am, yes.
Whoa! Congratulations. So,
Thank you.
what is your position?
I'm the second. Nope. Hold on. I'm very stuttery right now.
That's all right. Yeah.
It's summer. Hold on, I have summer brain.
I know, summer brain. It's
Well,
a
you already
real
went
thing.
to the summer camp, right? For the
I didn't end
officer
up
training?
going because it overlapped with another camp I was going to.
Gotcha. And yeah, so officer, so you would be going, so this coming year or next year, you said?
Next year. I'm the treasurer, I remember.
Treasurer, there we go.
It's all the paperwork and the money and stuff.
Well, and obviously she has that experience. She's been talking about that, so that's good.
No, there we go. So, yeah, that's really good to be a sophomore and the treasurer.
Yep.
There you go.
Well, and the nice thing is when you're in FFA, you have so many opportunities. So, you know, just being a sophomore, starting out as with an officer position, there's lots of other opportunities for her to move up and try different other ones as well.
There you go. So again, talking Northern Gila County Fair. and it is September 4th through the 6th. So mark your calendars. And opening ceremonies, let's talk a little bit about that, because the opening ceremonies are just very moving. If you can make it for the opening ceremonies, I highly encourage it. So tell us a little bit what that looks like this year, Faith.
So this year, I cannot tell you who our guest speaker will be yet,
Okay.
but it's going to be a surprise.
Okay.
But we are so thrilled that every year we have so many great veterans in this town and military folks that come and participate. They present the flags, and Rory is going to do a flyover again.
Nice.
So I don't know which formation they'll be doing, but that should be really fun. I just heard from our entertainment director that it sounds like Matt Barr will be playing right after our
nice.
opening ceremonies, but we usually do something patriotic. It's called Hailing Our Heroes, and we celebrate the people in this town and our community members and our military, and it's just amazing. Daryl from the rodeo always comes and he does a prayer, and it's usually about an hour long. Razor Thin Media is one of our big sponsors for that evening, and they usually do a nice video.
Oh yeah.
So it is very moving, I think, because there's so many people that are recognized and branches of the military. Last year we even had Space Force. Someone came from Space Force and talked about that. That was really cool. Just so many great things that happen on our opening ceremonies. We also have Kids Day during the day, so veterans and kids are free on that day. It's a Thursday, September 4th, and opening ceremony starts at 6.
Gotcha. And again, the complete schedule of events, the fair schedule, is on the website, and that is northerngilacountyfair.com. So you can see what the schedule is, also find out more information about the livestock auction, just all of it. So yeah, check it out. And the Mutton Busting State Championships, the inaugural.
Right, I know, I'm
First ever.
super excited. It'll be so fun in the Ranch Rodeo. This year we're also hosting the Colton Boyle Memorial Roping. Brett Flaherty's putting that on Friday the 5th. It'll start at noon, and I believe there are 2 sessions. Super fun. And I have to say that we could not do this without our great sponsors. We are so blessed, and we would love to have any of you that would like to contribute or participate as a sponsor. That Gila County is one of our big sponsors, the town of Payson, Desert Financial Credit Union. They have been a great sponsor for the last few years. Payson Dermatology, Plant Fair Nursery, Diamond J Veterinary Services. He actually comes, a lot of people know him as Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
He comes and he works with all the kids and their animals, and he doesn't charge them. He's such a blessing.
Wow. That's
And
great.
Razor Thin Media, Pioneer Title, and Payson Packaging, to name a few.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you so much, Faith, for coming on this morning, and thank you, Callista,
You're welcome.
for coming on and sharing.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Hey, you are so welcome. You did great, and yeah, it's always fun having different youth in and sharing about their animals, the livestock, their experience, and just how much they're learning through this experience. It's really cool.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
all right. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening and watching this morning. And again, a big thank you to the Shed Kings, Curtis and Anthony, for sponsoring our Community Spotlight program. Now, a message from them, followed by an update from the National Weather Service. And then it's back to the music here on KRIM with some Fleetwood Mac, ELO, Matchbox 20, and more. You guys have an amazing rest of your day, and see you at the Northern Gila County Fair.
Shed Kings, offering 2 convenient locations in Star Valley and Overguard, Arizona.
Hey there, I'm Curtis. And I'm Anthony. And we're the Shed Kings, home of the rent-to-own, no credit check program.
We offer barns, sheds, garages, cabins, and steel buildings, all built to last. Proudly representing Graceland Portable Buildings, industry leaders for over 20 years. Need something larger? We also represent American steel buildings for unmatched durability and the best warranties in the business. Quality matters. If there was a better constructed building on the market, we would be selling it.
Shed Kings made it so easy, but quality's unbeatable. I loved it so much, I joined the team.
Enjoy enhanced floor and wall durability, optimized fasteners, and budget-friendly options. Choose from a wide variety of styles and colors to fit your needs. Graceland Portable Buildings has the highest customer quality ratings year after year.
So come see us in person and experience the Shed Kings difference, because we have the shed you've been looking for. If not, we can build it. Call or visit us to get started.